Welcome back to the Sound for More channel. Today we are going to explain how to use the melt functionality inside Prism Midi Sequencer. Before I continue, I would like to remind my viewers to subscribe as it helps with growing the channel. Thank you very much. Okay, we are inside AUM. We click on the plus sign, we create a MIDI channel and also an audio channel. Let's choose as an audio source something like Bud Zone. There it is, and when it's loaded, we just maximize this so we can see the menu better here. And then we are going to choose a FM Joy as a preset, which sounds like so. Okay, decrease a little bit the main volume. Okay, that is always helpful. Okay, we hide the AUM keyword, and now we are going to choose as a MIDI processor Prism. Okay, we covered already in a number of tutorials on Prism, but it has received another update recently. Of course, when I say recently, at the time of recording this video, which is great. So as you can see, the UI has improved quite a bit, and there are a lot of new functionality, and I wait a little bit for this update so that I could show you on the melt function. So let's click on new song, okay, and we choose tonal track, okay, instead of a drum track. As you can see, much clearer as a UI, much more pleasant. So we connect the two, so we click here, we connect to Prism as a MIDI source, and we selected to respond only on channel MIDI channel number 1 in terms of what Bud Zone here will be listening to. So it will receive messages only from Prism MIDI channel number 1. Okay, we open again Prism. Now let's define some chords. So just a nice chord like so, or just a normal chord like this, a C major chord. And when we have selected that one, we just insert in like so. All right, and perhaps we choose another one. Of course, you can choose also, as we have seen in other tutorial, different modes here on the keypad. So that's a bit of a shortcut like so. So we have these C chord and then these D minor chord and then C chord again and D minor chord, repeating themselves. And so far, so good, nothing new. Now, let's double click here to create another MIDI node, and let's choose Grandstaff as a MIDI source, and we connect, of course, this instance of Grandstaff to this instance of Prism. So we click here on the left-hand side, we choose as a MIDI input Prism, like so, we ensure that it receives only channel number 1. Now, if I open Grandstaff, you can see now when I click play on the transport controller of AUM, you can see the chords which are represented as notes. So C, E, G for C major and D, F, A for D minor. Triad, of course, over the C major scale. Okay, so far, again, nothing really new. But let's go to track number 2, which we can do here, like so. We can say nice different color tonal track again. And let's choose now well, actually, let's duplicate this channel. We go where it says Bud Zone and we click duplicate the channel, like so. We connect this instance of Bud Zone to Prism and we set it to receive only on MIDI channel number 2. Okay, we open it up. As you can see, the same preset. Of course, we might want to choose also a different one, like this one, which sounds like so. But again, up to you. Now let's hide that keyboard again. Let's go back to Prism. So we are on track number 2. Okay, let's go back at the beginning like so. Let's go to Fuse here. And now here on the right hand side of this panel, you see these melt functions. So click on it. Now is asking you, you've seen it very quickly here at the top. It said select track. So click and hold the first track so that we have selected the first track to use as a melt function. If you click again on fuse button, it goes it exit that selection of track. You can see the pads have different colors. Okay, now let's insert, without having anything selected here on the right hand side, let's insert something like so, exactly in the position where the chords are changing. And please pay attention that here it says poly as a mode, and also poly as a selection, as a poly mode it says low. Now let's click play, and let's mute for now the first audio track. Now let's create another instance of Grandstaff like so, and let's connect again Prism as a MIDI input like so, but to receive only on channel number 2. Now let's open this up, so it will show us now when it's playing what track 2 is playing, which are exactly the same chord that you've seen in the first track, on track number 1. Now let's go back to Prism, and that's because it's set on poly mode. Okay, now let's click and hold and move. You can move it up to where you can select mono. Okay, bear in mind that at the moment it says poly mode low and it's selected as mono. Okay, now let's go back to Grandstaff and let's click play. So it's practically playing the lower note of that chord, or those chords, the C major and D minor chord. I actually prefer, perhaps we choose something different like these Joy Pluck. There's less release. So it's playing those C and D note, which can be very useful when, for example, you want to play a bass note of a chord, and then you can have as a preset, as an audio source, a bass sound or a bass preset. So that helps a lot to create that type of effect. Now, here, if you click again, you can go to poly 2, poly 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on, and click and hold and move down to go back to the previous one. So let's stick to mono, and here it says low, and he played the lower notes. Now click and move, hold and move up to select mid for MIDI. So let's go to Grandstaff and click play. So it's playing that E note and F note, which are the middle notes of that triad, because you have your first chord of, if I do it here, you have your first chord like so. For C major, is playing these notes here in the middle, the E. And when it comes to, of course, the D minor chord, he's playing this middle note here. So when he's low, it will play this note. When he's middle, it will play the middle note. I hope it makes sense so far. And if I was now to select instead move up high, right? So again, if I open Grandstaff and I click play, so he's playing the top note here, the A, and for the C major chord, which will be this one, it will play the higher note, which is this note here. Okay. Now there is also another selection here. If you go up, it says Alt for alternating, and now that really becomes really meaningful when it is in poly mode. At the moment, if you click play, still plays the lower note, but that become clear in a second, or will become clear in a second. So let's go back now and select here poly mode, but with 2. Now it shows you here which notes are being played. as well, which is really great. So it has a polyphony of two, so two notes, and displays the lower and the top. So let's check if that is accurate. So you would expect to play C and G when on the C major chord, and D and A on the D minor chord. So, and that is exactly what it's doing. Now, if I select to play low, it will play C and E for the C major chord, and of course D and F for the minor chord. So let's check. Perfect. And the behavior really depends on how many notes you have selected in poly. Okay, if you select 3, so we'll cover the entire chord. High again. Will not make any difference, right? And because he's having a polyphony of 3 and the chord is 3. But then again, that will make more of a difference if you have, for example, a 4 notes chord. So hopefully that is clear. And of course, you can change here the different selection for polyphony, how many notes from the chords you want to use. So yeah, so that is how it works, and it's useful to create different tracks from already recorded tracks. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the tutorial, and as always, see you next time. Bye.